Hello, welcome back to the Special Education PTSA webinar for Issaquah School District. This is our fourth webinar in the season, and we're happy to have returning people or new people. Today, my guest is Dr. Dana Bailey, who is the Executive Director of Special Services for Issaquah School District.
Thanks for having me back. Thanks for having me back.
You're welcome. So my name is Betsy Grant. I am the chair of the Special Education Committee for the ISD PTSA Council. This series is just a series of short webinars to answer 3 to 4 community questions on issues related to ISD special services. Our goal is just to provide ISD families in the special education students just a source for some answers to some common issues. If you have questions for future webinars, please send your questions via email to special-education@issaquahptsa.org, or you can also join our Facebook group. You can find us by searching Issaquah Special Education PTSA Committee. Everyone is welcome to join that. So, jumping right in, I received a question from a parent who is interested in the role of paraprofessionals or paras in special education. So I'll start off with how does the education or certification requirements for a special education teacher compare to a paraprofessional working in special education?
That's a great question. Special education teachers are certified or endorsed in both general education and special education through university coursework. Paraprofessionals need to have either passed the paraprofessional exam or have shown proficiency in some other way. Sometimes this is years of college on their own or years of experience in the field.
Okay, so is there specific training provided to paraprofessionals that work in special education settings, like either outside or within just the district itself?
So after a para is hired, some professional development is offered, but most of it is just-in-time training or on-the-job training for students and tasks assigned to the para. I do know that our district has worked to offer the certification process over time so that the paras can get that certification taken care of while they're working, so they learn it, practice it, learn it, practice it.
Okay. So when and why is a para chosen to assist with IEP pull-out instruction instead of a certified teacher?
The special education teacher would be the person who would devise and refine the schedule of who is delivering which services. So it could either be a special ed teacher or a special ed para at any given time. And there should definitely be a communication plan between the teacher and the para on how the students are doing, how they're doing behaviorally, how they're doing attentively, and how they're doing on their work production. One way I've seen this done particularly effectively is to have the para and the teacher exchange places frequently. So say once a week or twice a week, so that the teacher can not only get the written report from the paraprofessional, but also can see for herself how the students are doing.
Is that system something that's kind of standardized within the district, a system of feedback between the para and the teacher? Or is that kind of individualized per classroom and per student pairing?
I think the expectation that teachers and paras are connecting on how things are going when it's teacher designed and para delivered instruction, but I think it would be left up to the team to decide how they're doing it. I can't imagine a scenario where a teacher could wait for, say, a month to know how the paraprofessional and kids are doing in their small group and have that be effective. So I would say it's at least once a week.
Excellent, thank you. That was a lot of information on paras. Hopefully that answers that parent's question. So moving on, returning to a topic that we've discussed in previous webinars, some families are still having a hard time getting access to in-appointment services for LRC1 students. I've seen feedback that parents are requesting appointment services for students that have some significant learning regression during IEP meetings, but they're still being told it isn't an option. So are you made aware of these types of situations or requests that are denied? And how can more students get access to in-person assistance?
That's a good question, and one we keep returning to. So I have not been brought into the conversation about an agreement amongst the IEP team that appointment services are warranted, but that the IEP team can't agree or figure out how to deliver appointment services. I can certainly reach out to my directors again and see if they have been made aware of any situations where the teams feel stuck, and see what I can do to remove these barriers and open up appointment services, as that is what I believe is most appropriate for students who are really struggling in remote learning at this time.
Yeah, I think that would be appreciated. It sounds like there's a few situations where that's happening. So I think that would be great if that could happen. Okay, our last question is a bit of a meaty one. So the district is currently bargaining with the teachers union and other unions to allow for secondary students to return to hybrid in-person learning at least one day a week. So if agreements could be reached with the unions, would that provide an opportunity for LRC2 students to attend their general education classes in person with their peers?
Yeah, several bargains are underway, and it is our continued goal to open access to those farthest from educational justice. The instructional delivery group, which I sat on, met last summer and also proposed the same, that students with learning struggles be allowed greater access to in-person learning. And so, yes, I think my answer would be, as we bargain, the shared goal is greater access to students farthest from educational justice.
Great. So kind of along the same vein, if agreements can be reached with the unions, could any student with an IEP, both LRC1 and LRC2, be given access to more time in-person teaching than students that don't require that additional assistance?
Yes, so I would say that we remember that students farthest away from educational justice also includes all students in special education, but also students in general education, students who are homeless, students living in foster care, students who have other learning struggles. And I think that what you're asking for is that students with learning struggles will have greater access to in-person instruction. We agree on all counts. I'm advocating for students to be able to attend in person for up to 4 full days a week in both programs, LRC1 and LRC2. That's my stance. That's what I'm bargaining for. And we're hoping that we can get more minutes of in-person instruction on the table for students with disability, and honestly, all students who struggle with learning.
Right, and it sounds like if an agreement could be made for all of general education for all students, then that will open up the opportunities for more kids who are struggling because that larger group, the infrastructure that's needed, it'll be easier to make those additional opportunities available. Is that correct?
That's correct. That's what we're aiming for.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that. For those opportunities to happen, would separate bargaining have to occur for the special education population to take advantage of additional opportunities, similar to what happened with the K-3 Memorandum of Understanding, or MOU?
So I believe the plan is to embed it in the overarching bargain. So not something special, but something that is built within what is going to be delivered for all students, and that students who need extra support would be built into that overall plan.
Okay, and of course, that's all potential at this point in time because it's all being discussed and nothing has been agreed to. So that's all hope.
That's correct. And just know that, I'm at the table bargaining for special education students to have greatest access, and at the same time holding intention, moving appropriately through the bargaining process, and keeping in mind those other students who don't qualify for special education that also need a lot of extra support. And we want to improve school for everyone.
That's great. Well, we appreciate your energy and your voice on our behalf. So that's all we have for this time. Thank you again, Dana, for joining us. We hope the information that's been provided has been helpful. If you would, again, if you would like to suggest questions for future webinars, please send them to via email to special-education@issaquahptsa.org. And also, again, you can join our Facebook group, which you can search for Issaquah Special Education PTSA Committee. It's a great community where people find support and help and learn from each other. So thanks again, and we hope to see you next time.